I am beating every N64 game, and I mean all of them. The twist is, the next game I play is randomly selected, so I have no clue what's coming next. This is the journey to beating every N64 game. Game number 157, Supercross 2000. Released in 1999, this game was developed and published by Electronic Arts. Ooh, okay, more motorcycles. We played Excitebike 64 at game 110, so it'll be interesting to see how this one stacks up. Yeah, I know, it's another racing game, but hey, it's an alternative racer. We're not driving cars, we're all on bikes. Personally, the only motorcycle game I ever got into was Trials HD on the Xbox 360. I just don't really know anything about it outside of that game. And that one's not exactly realistic. I feel like this one can be decent, but only one way to find out. Let's get into it. The first thing I did was just a quick race to see how the game felt.
And the gate is dropped. We are underway with the main event.
Oh my god, it's so loud. My god, the start of a race is so loud. Also, I really struggled controlling this bike, but that would be a common theme with this game. Then I went into the freestyle mode. There's actually quite a huge selection of racers to choose from. I'm assuming these are real people. Although one is named John Dowd, and I remember that being Barry Bonds' name in one of the baseball games when they didn't have the rights to his likeness. This mode lets you drive around in an open arena with some ramps and do tricks. I was real disappointed you couldn't launch yourself into the crowd to cause some mayhem though. It's kinda fun I guess, but there's not really much you can do to stay entertained for more than a couple minutes. So the main single player mode in this game is the season, so that's what we'll be doing to beat this game. It lets you change some race settings. Not sure how most of this affects things. The difficulty was on beginner by default, so that's where I left it. I went with John Dowd because who doesn't want to race as Barry Bonds? The first race was at EA Stadium in Anaheim, which I'm sure is a real place. It shows an overhead view of the track, which is kind of neat. Then we get into the race itself. There was an arrow pointing me in the general direction of a turn, which seemed kind of superfluous. Oh my god, the crashes in this are absolutely brutal. I think that red guy died. The arrow following me around the entire time kind of creeped me out. Honestly, wasn't a big fan of it. And man, if you can't tell, turning in this game sucks. Like the bike essentially comes to a complete stop every time you want to turn, even if it's just a little bit. Not to mention, once you finally get going again after a turn, you instantly accelerate to max speed. In Excitebike, there was a lot of reward for using burns on the turns, but they just don't help in this game. Like, look at this jank. How did I go out of bounds there? It yelled at me for skipping the track, but I wasn't trying to. At least it seems like the AI is struggling to make the turns as well. It seems I don't suck at the game itself just sucks. I think they were trying to make the driving physics feel realistic, but come on, this is just rough. Each race has 5 laps, which is a pretty fair amount. I kind of wish there was more information on the UI other than your speed though. A mini-map or at least some indication of how you're currently placed would be nice. At least annihilating the other racers is always fun. If I can't race, then neither can they. Somehow I managed to take first place in this. Probably because all the other racers died when I landed on them. It shows your racer doing a very basic celebration, then shows how everyone placed. The second race was at Qualcomm Stadium. There was one real confusing part here where there were 2 paths you could take. I guess this is what the arrow's for, although it disappears after the first lap. Feels like there should be a barrier off to the right there. The best way I could find to make the turns work halfway decently was to just let off the gas and press the clutch when I turn. The brake is completely useless. Pressing it at any time led to a bad result. I'll take this time to talk about the graphics and music. The graphics in this game are extremely good. Other than the crowd, these are some of the best visuals I've seen on this console so far. The crowd itself though looks like a 1500s oil painting. For the audio, there's punk music playing in the menus, and you can get them to play during a race as well. The only band I recognize is The Living End, but one of them sounds just like Good Charlotte. In a race, you hear the bike engines and crowd, and there is also an announcer. His lines are pretty generic, but I guess it's better than nothing.
Emmy cuts to the inside on Albertine. Gets by him. There's mind games going on.
I took first place in this race as well.
Coming through.
Get destroyed, dude. Out of the way of John Dowd. 2 down. I found the race calendar in the menu, and it was here I learned there are 16 races in a season, so 14 more to go. With this being an attempt at a realistic motocross game, they're all going to be these similar looking indoor dirt tracks. Race 3 is the Bank One Ballpark in Phoenix, Arizona. The main thing keeping me going in this game was just seeing the other riders get absolutely launched.
Bang!
I don't think they can crash me. That should have been me. Well, that and the fact that I needed to beat it. One of those panels along the sides looked like it was Mountain Dew, but I think it's actually some generic auto part sign. I got the win here and I was starting to feel decently confident with driving. Well, as good as you can with these physics at least. Race 4 is the Seattle Kingdom. One of the turns here had a broken texture. I imagine this is due to my HDMI mod, but it's possible that the game just glitches here normally. Obviously, I had to eviscerate at least one other racer in this one. I only got second place this time. It's pretty funny how devastated your character looks if you don't get first. Oh, come on, dude. Second is very respectable. Race 5 is back to EA Stadium in Anaheim. I had my first crash here, and John Dowd definitely would have broken his back on that one. But yeah, it's the exact same track as the first one, and I took first once again. The season is scored on a point system, and I was looking quite good thus far. Next is the Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida. I don't know what this jank was. I didn't even go in the air, just kind of teleported out of bounds for no reason. Then there was this ramp where I literally landed on the red guy's head. This game is so crazy sometimes. Another first place finish for John Dowd. Then it was on to the Georgia Dome. I swear, I'm like getting visible whiplash from all the starting and stopping this game makes you do. Dude, I never got tired of hitting these other racers though. Another clean race from John Dowd with first place. Then it was on to Texas Stadium. I'm assuming this is following the real motocross schedule for the time period. Whatever motocross league this is, I guess. No idea why I crashed here. I didn't even do anything wrong. John Dowd took second place this time. The 9th race is Florida Stadium. Early on there was a pileup at a turn. You know, cause nobody can do it well. Unlucky for that blue guy in the back. He had to go. Another easy first place for John Dowd. Then it's on to the Houston Astrodome in Texas. I know I'm not really talking much about how the tracks are, that's cause they all look the same. Even the same advertisements everywhere. Just different arrangements of ramps and turns. Another first place for John Dowd. Race 11 is at the Triple H Metrodome in Minneapolis, second place here. Then it was on to the Trans World Dome in St. Louis, Missouri. I got absolutely scammed here. Tried to do a trick. What, that didn't count? I crashed right at the goal and both the bike and myself went across the finish line. I don't see any rules saying that I have to be connected to the bike. I will be filing a lawsuit. Then the Pontiac Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan, first place once again. And first place at the Louisiana Superdome. Another first place at the RCA Dome in Indianapolis. And finally first place at Sam Boyd Stadium in Las Vegas. So I had won the season. Literally all you get for it is a still image saying congratulations John Dowd. Wow, so worth it. The only other thing to look at were the cheats for the game, of which there were quite a few. There's just an option to enter them in the main menu. By far the best one is the giant bike cheat. I mean, this just looks absurd. I think we should have real bikes this size so maybe more people would get interested in this stuff. There are also several cheats to adjust the game's gravity for each planet. I'll admit the Jupiter physics seem a bit unrealistic. Like, yeah, my jump is lower than normal, but I feel like it would just crush me instantly. The Pluto physics are, interesting. Neither of these are playable, but it's fun to mess around with. The other planets are just in between Jupiter and Pluto's gravity. But, yeah, that's about all there is for this one. Game complete. So yeah, there you have it. My journey to beating Supercross 2000. This one's not the greatest. I could see this being a fun game, but you're just constantly fighting with the physics engine. Turning is such a chore. Excitebike kept the turns difficult, but still something you felt like you could master. This game feels like mastering it is still awful. Like, I feel like I get whiplash just from watching how often you stop, start, stop, start, stop, start. The pros for this game are definitely the graphics. Like, it visibly looks so good, and I think it's one of the best on the N64. The soundtrack's pretty cool to have as well. It was certainly rare to have licensed music like this at all on the N64, and this game has a decent selection. However, I just can't recommend playing this when Excitebike exists. It's clearly the superior motocross game. I gave it a 3 out of 10 for enjoyability and a 1.5 out of 10 for difficulty. Alright, thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed. We had a randomized marble race to determine which game was next, so here's how that played out. Or skip to the timestamp on screen to skip straight to the game selection. Let's see what it's gonna be. Alright, everybody slowly coming down. San Francisco Rush, the first down, as well as Turok. Actually, Turok getting a huge advantage there. One of the first down, but a lot of jumbling's going to happen here with these drop pegs. We'll see how Turok fares. Turok opting to go down the side, a good strat. There's less obstacles along the side. And it actually is Mario Golf with a brilliant execution, dropping down without getting hit by anything. Mario Golf in second now. Doraemon in the lead. 007, that would be GoldenEye, folks. Next Gex game as well. Super Smash Bros. Mario Golf. We got a lot of bangers out here, and Gex gets launched. And Gex right down the middle. Smash Bros. Doraemon, 007, Namco Museum as well. Gex in the lead right now. We'll see if Gex can hang on to it. Coming down these drops here, a lot of randomization here as well. And it's Namco Museum gets launched out first, but a little out of control. And nobody's fallen yet. Namco Museum with a commanding lead, and there's Ogre Battle. And no, the Japanese title Zorimaju gets launched, but Ogre Battle comes back with a big launch, and Pilot Wings as well. Coming through the Cracker Barrel pegs here, we got Ogre Battle in the lead. Getting boosted. There are some pegs here that could launch. So many games falling, and Zorimaju getting obliterated. And now it appears WCW is in the lead, and we got a complete roadblock here. Ogre Battle, ECW Hardcore Revolution, I believe that's a wrestling game. Ogre Battle trying hard, and Pilot Wings, as well as Brunswick Circuit Bowling. Oh my god, please don't pick that. And it's Brunswick Bowling and ECW Hardcore Revolution. We're going to see who it's going to be. They're both coming through these bumps. And I think it's going to be ECW Hardcore. Oh, I thought Magical Tetris Challenge, but no. It's ECW Hardcore Revolution. Oh my goodness, folks. That was crazy. So many lead changes. What is that? I actually don't know. The winner, ECW Hardcore Revolution. It has been decided. But yeah, if you're still here watching, you're awesome. Thank you so much. If you had a good time, consider hitting that like button, or maybe even dropping a subscription. Or hey, maybe even watch another one of these videos that's on screen now. And yeah, see you next time.